flew corporate jets, so she'll be able to tell us about it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tal. I applied to fly corporate jets when it was about 1,200 hours, and that was the minimum to fly corporate jets. For the reason I wanted to fly, because I want to see what it looks like at the flight level 450, and I want to feel that acceleration in the jet, which, like Lucas said, is incredibly exhilarating. The first moment that you get to pilot the jet, you push that throttle and the seat pushed back, and all that energy is rushing. Is super incredibly exciting. Earlier, we were talking about how do you get your job. Your best way to get a job is connections. If you look around, these are the best connections that you have. So for me, when I was trying to get that job, I was talking to my flight instructor. And my flight instructor at that time had graduated and he was flying at the jet. So I asked him, okay, like, what does it take to get a job there? And he said, let me share it with you. And throughout conversations and messages, so share with me the different lifestyles. And then within a week, maybe 2 weeks of our having this first conversation, I got a call from HR to interview with the company. And so immediately I got an interview with the company. A week later, I got the job offer. So for me, from that moment of idea, like, what does it look like to fly at the flight level to getting that job? Like Ting was saying, sometimes that job you can get pretty quick, like with really good connections with people who know you really well. That can happen super quick. One thing I want to share with you is the lifestyle, and I think it'd be great to hear everyone's lifestyle, flying corporates or an airline. So for me, the lifestyle of a corporate pilot can be a lot of fun. So we were flying people, famous people, CEOs, like some of our pilots were flying Julia Roberts, Johnny Depp, Chris Pratt, all those Hollywood guys. I was flying basketball players, NBA, football players. And typically the way that corporate jobs work is people with a lot of money will put in a request. Like, I want to fly from here and here at this time. And then, at least in our company, I flew with Pacific Coast Jet out of Oakland, is they would bid on those requests. And then we would get, like, you're going to Canada today, or you're going to Mexico. Oftentimes, it's pretty last minute. So as the corporate pilots, for me, we were flying 12, 13 days on, and then the rest off, but then they could add on. So you have a bulk salary. Typically, you start out, I don't know what your company started out, but first officer in the corporate, we were starting out 70, 80,000. And then if you were a captain, the starting out was 125, 130,000. That is your base salary for working half of the month and half the month off. But if you have more flights in addition, then you get additional pay for any additional flights that you do. And then the way that it works is we would have an app, and then you would just constantly check the app for us anyway, and it'll show up like, this is your next flight. Some days we'll be flying 6 flights a day. It's a very quick flight. We'll work 12 hours a day. The hours it changes. Sometimes it's a 5 a.m. departure time, so you arrive at 4 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes the flights end late at night, 2 a.m. in the morning, because the famous people don't arrive on time. And then sometimes they bring all their family and their dogs and their extra basketball player person who doesn't weigh as your normal 180 pounds. They weigh like 250 pounds. So this weight and balance thing is constantly shifting. The flights is shifting. It's a lot of fun because you get to see where rich people fly. Like, we don't just fly to big international airports, which we did sometimes, but we'll fly to Aspen, Colorado. We'll fly to Cabo, Mexico. We'll fly to Boise, Idaho. There's ski resorts over there. It was some of the most interesting kind of flying because it really pushed for me, at least my IFR skills, because we were flying in places where we're at low minimum, low ceiling, low visibility. It's snowing outside, it's negative 30 Celsius. For the first time, I have to do a cold temperature correction table and understood what it is. And there were some flights where it's so cold, you walk outside, everything instantly freeze. So you gotta be really careful of no water, you know, can't be wet hair because we would just freeze. We'll be flying in torrential rain and snowstorm. Typically, so there was a question online of like, do you need a type rating? How does it work? So typically, depends on the company, they'll hire you at around 1,000, 1,200, 300 hours. And then the expectation, I don't know what your company does, but most companies that I know, corporate, they'll pay for your type rating, but you have a contract. And the way the contract works is if you fly with us for this amount of time, maybe it's a year or 2 years, then the type rating is paid for and it's free for you. If you leave the company earlier than that, then it's a pro rata. So they'll divide the cost of the type rating. Let's say type rating is 20,000 divided by 2 years. If you leave this number of months, you pay back that amount. Okay. So for me, the type rating took a week. I had to learn from flying a 172 baby airplane to being able to fly a jet in 1 week. That was pretty fast. It's a new way of thinking about things. And the type rating check ride was one of the hardest check ride that I've ever taken. Because we would have 4 or 5 sim flights and then it's check ride time. And so we have to be really sharp in the check ride. We're dealing with engine failure, engine fire. But then there was one flight where I had to land in LaGuardia at night in the middle of a snowstorm with 26 knot crosswind. My engine just failed and I had to land on a spot, precision. And it was like low ceiling, low visibility at minimum. And it was insane. But luckily there's the autopilot that helps you out. It's a very challenging type rating check ride for me. Because in the check ride, especially when you're simulated, they can put any conditions. So the moment that I finished that check ride, I thought no one in their sane mind would ever fly in that kind of condition. And then I went to the job and I go, oh my God, I'm flying in this condition. It's like, this is real. I am landing this jet at 26 knot crosswind. And we're like banking at low to do the side slip, or we're flying Boise, Idaho, and the ceiling's right there, and that's the iOS minimum. And then we see the runway, we're vertically diving. And the first time I came into Aspen, Colorado, the whole approach is crazy. If anyone knows Aspen, Colorado, it's like 6.5 degrees high slope. So you follow that approach in, drops you off, and then just a vertical dive, speed brakes, everything on, and you're just diving to the runway. Super exciting lifestyle. We'll go to these different places, stay overnight. So we're going Cabo. Some people get to stay overnight Cabo. It's a lot of fun. So Canada, Mexico, if you fly a faster jets, you go to New York, Florida. The hard thing about the job is that the flight is constantly changing. So you might think, okay, today I'm flying to these different cities, these different airports, and then 30 minutes before your flight, it's a completely different flight. And you have to think about flight planning all over again. It's a super fast pace, moving passenger luggages on the planes. What's pretty hard for me. I'm 5 feet tall. And I'm trying to lift these 50 pounds and 100 pounds luggage above my head to put in the baggage compartment. And that was challenging. We'll get catered lunches and stuff. Plan all the fuel. Because the hours change rapidly, sometimes we'll get a lot of sleep, sometimes not a lot, because the body doesn't have the opportunity to adapt to all the changing sleep schedules. But there are really high highs and sometimes really difficult days. So that's part of the job. Many people in the company would do 2 years as a corporate pilot 135, and then they go to Delta, United, Southwest. So that's another pathway. If your goal is to be in the majors, you can go regional and then majors, or you can do the corporate and then majors. It's different kind of flying. Like you're flying into more exotic airports sometimes, really fun airports with different time of the days. You fly whenever the passengers want to fly. You fly around thunderstorm, fly through thunderstorms, like snowstorm. You fly through snowstorm. And the views, like Lucas said, is incredible, depending on where you're going. A lot of actual IMC finally experienced what flight level 450 is like. And what's great is now when I come back and train my students, I have that real life world experience and I can bring that to life for them. Like one of the things when you're learning IFR that is required is crew resource management as part of the FAA. But when I was going through my IFR training, no one was really talking about CRM. And I didn't even understand what it means, but that was required for, and it still is a required topic for IFR. And after I flew that corporate experience, now I have a CRM. This is the procedure that really works. So if you have any questions on life as corporate, how to get in, how to lifestyle, what I currently do now, some people ask, is I'm writing books. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I love teaching, and every once in a while, I'll try to pick up Jet's job just for one time, twice a month, maybe once a month. That's my thing. Like I love that hits of the acceleration, going down a runway really fast, flying at Mach numbers. That's fun for me. But what I also love doing is creating educational content and being an entrepreneur. So that's how, for me, I married both lifestyle, different kind of career options that are available.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Anybody else would like to share their experience? Maybe Kenny, about regional flying. What did you think about that, flying for the regionals?
I mean, so it was an interesting time when I got into SkyWest because when I had started my journey, so to speak, into aviation, regional airlines were a very different animal. I remember I touched on it briefly, like looking at the pay for SkyWest, and it was $32 an hour starting as a first officer, and I was very excited by that. It has since increased. It's increased a lot since Antonio was getting in those early 2000s in the regionals. So my experience is talking as a present day, obviously. For myself, I got in, movement was very quick in San Francisco, so I was able to have a fairly predictable schedule quickly. You're not really going to get too many days off at a regional airline. I would expect anywhere from 12 to 13. Whether you have a line, which means a set schedule, or reserve, will usually just be 12, 13. As your seniority goes up, you'll tend to get more days off. It's first year, you're going to make about $100,000, and that's going to be without picking up open time or working too much in that sense. And you'll really enjoy that, and then it'll come time to be captain upgrade, and then everything will fall apart, and then you'll start from there again and work your way through that. And then by the time that's good, you're going to go on to your next job. As a CFI, I was working like 6.5 days a week. It was hot, I was tiring, and I was happy to move on from that. And then when I got to regional airline, the training itself was probably one of the most difficult things I've done, both emotionally and academically. It starts off nice. You're in a class, it's air conditioned. Everybody there's got the same interest as you, so it's very cool. And then they just start ramping up the difficulty on you, and they make it clear from the beginning that you should be thankful to be there. And it's true, you should be thankful to be there, but they also can replace you. You are a number. So if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain, they'll find somebody that will do it. So I remember the lowest point in my training was when I went into the simulators. That's probably where the majority of people wash out. It was my first day on simulator. It was my 29th birthday. And things went rough for my sim partner and I. And at the debrief, the instructor said, if you guys, don't sort all this out, you're probably going to wash out of training. So then I went into my hotel room after that with a cupcake, and my fiance called me on FaceTime, and I had a cupcake with a candle on it, singing happy birthday to myself. So yeah, the industry has a lot of fun things in it. There's a lot of high points, but you are going to have those lows, and they're going to go lower than you expect, but you have to power through it. So just recently at SkyWest, I mean, I had an overnight with a captain that I really like. I kind of nicknamed him a food captain because he knows where food is at every overnight, and it's all good food. And he is happy to go out. So everywhere you go, you're hanging out with some people, you're getting good food, you're seeing neat stuff, and you really enjoy it, So once you kind of get through the singing happy birthday to yourself in a dim hotel room and somewhere in Kentucky, there will be a payoff, trust me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I mean, you just you work through it, it gets low, and then it'll get better, and then it'll go low again, and then eventually one day, hopefully you end up at your dream spot, and your schedule is close to what you want.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Good
question. The industry right now, a lot of times, because you mentioned, we brought up ATP, CTP times. Some of the airlines aren't covering it, like in the off the street hires, or just people just got the free offers. Do you recommend that CFIs, if they have the means, they go to ATP, CTP just to kind of get an idea of like, okay, this is what's going to be like in training, like getting into a simulator, having to start learning your flows, working with a co-pilot because you're going from single pilot to dual pilot operations.
So with ATP, CTP, right, there's a few portions to it, right? There's a ground portion, and that's mostly covering just kind of like a wider range of like accidents and topics and things, and that all came from the Colgan crash. Congress mandated all that. It's good information, but there's really not too much to that. When you do get to the simulator portion of ATP, they spend pretty much zero time explaining like what plane you're in. You might switch planes like last minute, sim or whatever procedure trainer, just like a non-movement simulator. And they'll just kind of walk you through some like very basic concepts. When I did ATP, CTP, there was like one takeoff that we did, and we did several, but in this particular one, like the instructor was like, you guys are like messing up all this stuff. And I was like, you told us literally just put the levers forward, so like that's about what you're going to get out of ATP, CTP. It's fun. It's kind of like it's good awareness overall, and that's all it's meant to be, is like an awareness. But if you're asking though from like a way to differentiate yourself as a candidate, if you can afford it, definitely go for it. You will do your ATP written at the end of it. And that will, last for like 2 years for an ATP check ride. And I mean, you could do like an ATP check ride right after that. So you got CTP done, then you have an ATP. So that might just be what it takes if, you need it.
Yeah, it's a small glimpse into CRM, but it does have value career-wise, like for, being able to get a job afterwards. And
I know Ting mentioned doing ATP in like a light twin, like a Seminole or a Duchess. That's an option. I've heard about some people doing ATP, CTP courses and then paying like additional to do like a type rating. The type rating is like, it's cool to have. There's not much value in it without like a job or experience. But you can get an ATP through that. So, if you then went into like a training department that had like a 737 or Airbus or whatever you did your type rating in, would it be helpful? Like marginally so, sure, maybe put you ahead a little bit, but it's never going to put you ahead of the guy or the girl that's in their hotel room running the flows for like 6 hours, with their partner.
It's just open your door to more applications,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, and then in that situation, you're not gonna. I think those CRMs takes, like you said, time in hotel,
Mhm.
running through flows over and over again with your sim partners. But ATP CTP simulator will not give you that. They just want to put you in that environment to experience what is it gonna be like. But the first of all, the instructor might not have a lot of experience in that aircraft. The reason why I'm saying is me and my sim partner, we got put in the ATP CB training for upgrade. We fly Embraer 145. We are in the Embraer 145, and then the instructor was just, "Oh, you guys fly that, and just set it up, and let's just do some stuff." And then he was confused with some of the buttons that's going on. We have to tell him that, "Oh, it's actually we do it this way." So I'm not trying to say anything negatively towards that training. It's a great thing to get you sit in the cockpit and try to understand full motion simulator. But you're thinking to get actual simulator training in that type of aircraft or getting actual CRM training, probably not the best. But I would still suggest that to open your door to different options.
Yeah, makes your resume stronger too. So I mean, like I was saying earlier, maybe a type rating might make yourself a little bit better in the resume. So maybe consider getting it, because it also shows the airline that you're trainable and you're able to complete the training. So that's something that's actually going to benefit you.
And then we talk a little bit about different type of lifestyle in different area, and I think I need to touch on a little bit on the JSX part as well. I think we are a unique creature in this industry where we are having we're under Part 135. We have our schedules. I know my next month's schedule, or sorry, I know my this month's schedule already. I know exactly when I'm working, when I'm not working. I actually usually have a big chunk of days off, like from the 1st to 12th is my day off this month. And then other than that, about working 14 days, either you prefer more flying day or more reserve day. There is no holding a line, because there's no you're sitting on reserve because you're junior. It's just you're gonna get more flying or less flying. But after you finish training, you're pretty much on the line. And then I know you talk about for your training was just 1 week, and then for airline training is about
2.5, 3 months.
2.5 to
for JSX is about 1 month. We do everything like 121. We want like in company in dock system lessons, put it in your simulator, about 6 lessons. Then you're done with your type rating and last day, and then you come out, you do a thing we call Superfly, but it's pretty much IOE. So you will see a lot of similarity between the 121 World to JSX, because we try to adopt that, and then we try to use that to enhance safety, because we do hire people relatively low time. Schedule-wise, I cannot complain at all. I go home every night if I want to, but last year, I was joking to my friend, because I actually spent in the hotel night more than 120 days, which is 1/3 of my year. I'm spending my night in the hotel. That is very different than a regular JSX schedule, but I purposely choose that in order for me to get the upgrade. There will be people, like I believe Sebastian, the time that you were there, probably minimum overnights, but you have the option to, if you want to get sent out to other base to get experience in order for you to upgrade, it's possible, because I know after you upgrade the next day, they're going to send you to places that you will probably doubt yourself whether you could do it or not. Example is once I finished my upgrade, my first flight was out of White Plains, New York in wintertime. And I've never been to White Plains as a first officer. I've never dealt with winter as a first officer, but now because you're qualified, you have to do that. Then how am I able to do it? Because I've been TDYing to different stations. So I get into similar places where I might require similar type of knowledge, but just to put it out there, if you want to earn that upgrade as soon as possible, you need to put in the hard work. But also you could choose. You want to do that rough type of lifestyle, or you want to do easy lifestyle and then just enjoy your day off, travel. That's also another option, because we do have flight benefits. We do have KCMs. I can non-ref on United. I just got back from Osaka flying on the Polaris class, paying just $230 going there. So it's just a unique position where JSX is a mixture of kind of airline feeling and also like corporate job, which I told you guys that I did charter, where I'm flying different places. I was loading bag. I was helping them loading bags, closing down things, like doing field order, which at our station, we normally never need to deal with it. We just show up, flight plan is there ready, passengers are here, all screen checked in. Okay, let's go. And I get the paperwork just like a regular airline job.
Yeah.
So I think JSX is a very good opportunity for you to get a taste of it while remain whatever maybe a quality of life, or like you just want to, it's a very good balance, a very good opportunity you could get in.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, at Spirit is a little bit different. So flying for ultra low cost carrier. I mean, I never got to touch a line. I was reserved the whole time. But getting out of training, going through IOE, we go through different op specs, things like that. I actually got the chance to de-ice an airplane once in Salt Lake City. We go to the de-icing pad and we pull out the chart and they're saying like, okay, this is the type of fluid. We got to ask them the type of fluid they're going to put on the wing. And we sit there, we do all the checks that we have to do, and back again, we're out, right? And that was fun. You learn a lot of different operations. For us, it was just mostly get over there, do your preliminary cockpit check, and then you're out the door. As people is boarding, you're kind of walking around the airplane. You're doing a walk around, making sure everything is good, checking out the engine cowlings. You do a full walk around, you come back in. Paperwork is there, and you kind of just review the paperwork. You make sure that you're happy with it, right? Everything looks good. Captain checks it. We talk about it, and we just start putting everything into the box. And we brief everything. We just ready to go. So everything is kind of like very fast flowing, and it's always going to be like that. It's very repetitive. So even if you fly with someone different, they know what they need to do, so you kind of don't have to be chasing around them or doing anything like that. You have your tests, you do your tests. Checklist is very like on point. Everything is verbatim. So that's how it was flying wise. And lifestyle. I was commuting. So I live here in San Jose, and I was flying to Vegas. And in the airlines, at least at Spirit, we're able to bid types of reserve lines that we want to hold, right? So if I want to start at maybe 10 in the morning, I'll place a bid for 10 in the morning. If I'm like, okay, what do I like second to 10 in the morning? Oh, I like the 1900, which is 7 p.m., right? And you bid these things, and you just kind of like structure how you want it. So like, okay, do I want to do 4 days on, 4 days off? You place that on the bid. And it also, but it's by seniority too. So like you might get it, you might not get it. You might get your third option, right? And things like that. So the way I usually structured was just 4 days on, 4 days off, or like some months I'll do 6 days on, 4 days off. You could also bid to do like 14 days straight or 13 days straight, and then have like close to 2 weeks off, right? And but the thing about reserve is you're not always working. You're just kind of sitting there waiting to get a call. So I got a crash pad out in Vegas. I'd fly out there. And sometimes that whole period I wouldn't get called. So I was just watching Netflix, going to the gym, just like enjoying my life. Yeah. Well, yeah, I lost 25 pounds, man. Thanks to reserve. Got bored. But anyways, that's how it is. And then when I would come back home, I'll if I'm not too tired, like if I didn't get called that whole week, I'll call my girlfriend and say like, hey, let's go to Hawaii. We got flight benefits. We'll just pack up our bags last minute. Her job is very flexible too. So we're just like, okay, yeah, just call off. We're going to go travel. And we'll just hop on a flight to Hawaii, and then I'll come back, and then I'll just have a chat with the captain I fly with next week about Hawaii. But it was pretty laid back. I enjoyed it. I mean, because it was always something that you never knew was going to happen. You could get a flight to Chicago, or you could get it to Atlanta. So it's kind of exciting when you get a call. You're like, I wonder where I'm going tonight, or where I'm going today.
So I worked at both of those companies, and I won't do a whole thing, but just talk about the highlights of each. JSX, home every night, famous people, high-end product, FBO, come in and out. They'll go into, even KCM could be a pain in the ass. And then you knew the captains, and so that was cool. And so when I was switching to Spirit, I was like, oh my God, you meet the captain, and then you never see them again. And I was worried about that. But then it ended up being this beautiful thing. Like you either talk or you don't talk. And like maybe you're doing a red eye from LAX to Boston, and you could like talk to the guy the whole 5 hours, or you could just like be quiet. And then it's on them to decide what they want.
Yeah.
So it was actually a cool thing. Like, okay, goodbye. Have a nice life. It was great to meet you. The 121 training environment. So JSX was my first jet, and it was a huge jump, and it was very condensed and a lot tougher than Spirit. The 121 training at Spirit, I loved it. I can't say good enough things about it. From day one, you're doing every SOP, standard operating procedure, every checklist, every call out from day one. And then there's 3 different sets, like he said, the cockpit trainers, which is like a touch screen, and then you've got another one that's just like a panel that you practice on, and then you've got the simulator without the motion, and then the simulator with the motion. So by the time you get to the end, you've just got all those procedures down. And so then when you get to the line, I remember at JSX was just like got through the training unscathed, and then got out on the line and was just like, I don't remember what I'm supposed to do up here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was a little tougher, but I mean, we could do a whole seminar on your first jet
Yeah.
if you guys want.
Yeah.
We
it
are
was,
almost out of time.
Uh-huh.
There's a couple things, and for those of you watching at home too, everybody, please go to this link here, fill out our feedback form, and let us know. Also, if you're not a member of PAPA, there's a QR code here. A lot of benefits to membership. LPA, we got a QR code to join. If you're a member of LPA and you never got your wings, come and see me afterwards. I have your wings. Join our WhatsApp chat for LPA. That's how you find out what we're doing. If you're a San Jose State student, Antonio and I are going to be there on Sunday talking to the freshmen. Friday. And the seniors on Friday. Don't skip your class if you're in that class. And then
We do have swags. Papa did bring swags. So if anyone interested in getting some swags from Papa, come talk to us.
And then Tao is passing out a little piece of paper. I need you to write your name and your email. And I have to be able to read your email so that I can send you your free t-shirt, whoever wins the drawing. Aside from that, let's see, we got the feedback form, the memberships.
Mhm.
Anything else, you guys?
You want to spend some time talking. Here,
Yeah.
Benson is Papa's new president, so it's very honored to have Benson here in
Yeah.
person to talk to you all about Papa directly from the source.
Thanks everyone for being here. My name is Benson, as Tim mentioned. I'm the president of Papa. I'm here a little incognito because I found out a little kind of last minute, but I'm happy to be here. A lot of great information shared by everyone up on here. Please keep coming to these. Remember that flying is a privilege. You know, we're lucky to be able to do this. Even if you're frustrated, if you're feeling kind of doubtful about things, just remember this is a really cool job. We're all here by choice. Doing anything else, we can be anywhere else. We're here trying to find out ways that we can progress up there and end up fulfilling our dreams. So that's all I have to say. Please coming out to these events. Thank you for all being here. Staying involved. It's a great community. It's a great collaboration with the LPA. We were just out in Orlando not so long ago. We get invited. We invite them to come. It's all about building community. This is part of it. Thank you. I know it's hot in here, so I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Benson.
Do you want to talk about the lifestyle for you at 777?
Sure, I know we're running short on time, but I did want to say that the training at United is what you would expect. It's not like the regional where you feel that constant pressure. Oh my gosh, am I doing well? What's going on? There's always that kind of that anxiousness. At United, it's laid back. They kind of feel like, hey, you know how to fly an airplane. We're just learning procedures. Zero pressure. And I kept talking to my sim partner the first time there. When's it going to get hard? When's it going to get hard? It didn't get hard. We can go through what we need to do, and we've done it before. It's just another airplane. So anyway, completely different ball game at the majors. 777 lifestyle. I got typically 19 to 20 days off on my schedule. We get paid by the hour, so we're hourly employees. So if I can find a trip that is what we call efficient, that's I fly to Beijing. It's 25 and a half hours for a 3-day trip. So the first day we fly out there, it's 14-hour flight there. Stay about 24 hours, and then a 14-hour, a little bit shorter, going eastbound jets. But basically that pays me 25 hours, 25 plus hours a month. If I do that 3 times a month, that's 70, almost 80 hours a month, which is typically what an airline pilot gets paid is about 80. If I want to pick up more trips, I can, but then I start running into a limit of FAR limitations where I can't fly more than 100 hours and 30 days. And quite often I'm like, oh, I've got all this time off. I should just go pick up another trip and work this. Burn, unable. So I can do something a little bit shorter. I could go to DC and back, and that usually satisfies that. But yeah, schedule's great. Lifestyle is great. The tough thing, flying international, is just the schedule. Getting used to that schedule. I'm gonna fly tonight to Seoul. It's a 4-day trip, which means I leave tonight about midnight, let's say, and then I'll be back 6 a.m. on Wednesday. It's 4 days because I'm starting tonight and ending on Wednesday. This is a 4-pilot crew. So with 4 pilots, we're gonna switch. Everybody works the first 15 minutes and the last 45 minutes. So there's 4 pilots in that flight deck. But aside from that, we take the breaks and we're gonna split the flight time in half. So let's make it easy. If it's an 11-hour flight, I've got to work 1 hour. This is 45 minutes at the tail end and 15 minutes at the beginning. So I take off that hour. That becomes 10 hours now for pilot breaks. Since there's 4 pilots, we split it in half. So I have 5 hours where I get to go back and go to sleep in a bed. Some beds are more comfortable than other beds, but it's still a bed. I get to go to sleep for 5 hours. I'm getting paid for those 5 hours, by the way. So I always think, oh, this nap, I'm able to, buy whatever. This nap just paid for my kids' tuition for the rest of the month. And then I swap with the working flying crew. The flying crew is usually the relief crew, and then the operating crew. I swap with them, and then us 2 pilots will then take over captain, first officer seat. It doesn't matter who sits in what seat. Usually it's like we line up behind the flight deck door, and whatever seat is unoccupied first, that's the first one we take. We work it out. Sometimes there's 3 pilots. To Europe, for example, or to Japan, there's 3 pilots. We'll take that same 10-hour time frame, but we split it by 3 because now we're all rotating. The good thing with that schedule is I get to know the other 2 pilots pretty well because I got to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours with them. For the 4-person crew, we operate as a 2-person crew. So I really only see those operating pilots for 1 hour of that whole flight. They get to know each other really well because they've got 6 hours to talk. And I get to know the guy that I'm working with, but it's not until the overnight that we all get to kind of hang out and get to know each other. Overnights, 80% of the time, 85% of the time, we all go out and do something. Probably tomorrow when we get to Seoul, we'll go have some free barbecue or something together. Sometimes guys just, hey, I'm beat, and you go to sleep. And that's the toughest part is scheduling your sleep cycle. It's tough. You have to learn how to sleep on an airplane. And that's my biggest fear. My absolute biggest fear was I really want to do this international flying, but I can't sleep on an airplane, and I'm just going to be completely destroyed, completely fatigued. But God bless me for the ability to just pass out. So I sleep well. But you get over there and you'll find your routine. Some people, for me, when I go to Asia, I stay up as late as I possibly can. Body clock, it's about 5 or 6 in the morning. So I basically pulled an all-nighter with a small 4 or 5 hour break of a nap. That's the nap I took on the flight out, but I'm up until 5, 6 in the morning body time, which is midnight, let's say over there. And then you're waking up at some weird hour because your body has no idea what the time zone is. 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're like, bing, I'm wide awake. All right, let's go do something. Some people, they go to sleep right away and they're up at midnight because they try to keep a local, their home base time zone. So that's the biggest challenge in international flying is managing your sleep, managing those time zones. But if you can figure that out, hey, it's the best lifestyle.
Yeah.
Listen,
How do you pick who goes to sleep first? Like who goes on break first?
yeah, usually the relief pilot or the relief pilots are the first ones to go to sleep. If there's three pilots, it becomes a little more tricky. The relief pilot will always take that, not always. If a captain comes in, he's like, I am exhausted. I want that first rest. They get it. We are there purely to support the flying pilots. So whatever the flying pilot wants to do, and then there's usually one that's assigned to take off in the landing. They're the one that gets to say, hey, I want to sleep first. I want to sleep last. I want to sleep somewhere in the middle. They're the ones that dictate that usually. But most people want the last sleep opportunity if they're going to be flying. So they'll have a relief pilot goes to sleep. And let's say the captain's landing, then the flying co-pilot will take his break. And then I'll come out, I'll take that flying co-pilot's position. And then the captain will take their last break because they're the ones that are going to land. And then I'll swap out, I'll sit in the captain's seat, and the first officer will sit in their assigned first officer seat.
Do you normally work as relief pilots?
Yes. And that's for United Airlines, it's seniority based. Some airlines, that is your actual job. You bid for position as a relief pilot, or you bid for position as others, and that's all you do. For United, if my seniority can hold it, I can be either a relief pilot or a flying first officer. Sometimes I get those positions and I get to actually land the airplane. Most of the time I don't.
Yeah, great, man.
Thank
Good stuff.
Guys, take a picture of that. Please fill it out. We're going to do a drawing in just a second. If you're still watching at home, also AsianPilots.org and LatinoPilot.org if you want to join our organizations. Somebody could collect the little paper slips, and then we will do our free t-shirt drawing.
All right, sounds good. Exciting. Then we'll do the Q&A.
That was the whole thing. It's done. Look at the time.
Yeah. Let's go.
You kept going. I was like, oh,
We could talk about it forever.
I kept mine short. Yeah, training was tough.
I was listening to you guys, and I was like, I worked at both of your companies.
Yeah. Sebastian, you talked to Canon at United?
Yeah, I did. We're done.
Oh, done.
We're done. I'm going to do the free t-shirt, and everybody's going to be on their way.
All right. I'm going to slowly make my way out because I got to fly tonight. I got to go out and make dinner.
I'll talk to you about Friday. You going to get enough rest before then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to turn around on that Wednesday. My day's full.
All
You
right.
got kids? There's no stop.
I'll just handle everything and see you when I see
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Good, good.
It's nice meeting
Yeah,
you.
you too.
Pleasure.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Hey, let's get
Appreciate it.
together.
Nice to meet
Let's
you
do it.
again,
Yeah,
Antonio.
I'd love to hear your story too. I mean, I know we've seen each other a couple times. And I think it's a great story.
Enjoy the flight. to
And
Seoul.
your story
Yeah.
as well.
Let's look at a picture before you head
Oh,
out.
yes.
Let's do it.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hang out.
come. Here.
Yeah, they're ready. It's good. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, thank
Did I
you.
get everyone? Did I miss?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. There you go, Sebastian.
Okay, do we have everybody's little paper slip for the t-shirt drawing?
Anybody else? Paper slip?
Can you hand them,
Here, Lucas, you do it.
I'll pick it. All right. Dude.
most official?
What's everybody gonna do? Guys, fill out that form.
Yeah.
Come on. I thought it was your name that came out.
All right. Let me see.
We'll do two. We'll do two.
I like to go for the last one down there.
Okay.
Those guys never get a chance. All right, Gabe. There
Yeah.
you go, man.
All right, we're gonna do one more. And it will be Nat Duan.
Oh.
Awesome.
DOANM@gmail.com. Okay, good. If I can't read it, perfect. Wait. Your email?
GBB.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
At gmail.com.
It looks like something
No,
else.
they're not sixes. No, they're B's.
Like, what is that? All right, cool, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And yes, please do.
Hi guys.
Shannon has an announcement.
Yeah, so my name is Ken. I'm also part of Pop-Up on the sponsorship committee. I just want to make an announcement, but all the Pop-Up members are here. We are going to do a United San Francisco tour sometime in November. So please keep an eye on the Discord, and we'll let you know about the date and how we sign up. That's it.
Awesome. Man. Well, a big thank you for everyone for coming in today. I hope you guys leave with some important knowledge now, right? And we know what to do. Make those resumes strong and keep working towards where you're working. Be optimistic and don't listen to the negativity, man. Just keep working towards your goal and keep it strong. And thanks for all the speakers for coming in today, taking your time of the day to come here and speak about your experience. You guys have very valuable stories, and it was really nice hearing you guys today. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And everyone online too. Thank you for coming.